Welcome everyone. Good evening. I can see that some of you are from LinkedIn and some of you are also connecting via Facebook. Thank you so much and welcome to Oxcel Café chat. Okay, we are going to have this 45-minute session today, and this 45 minutes is going to be packed with quite a couple of interesting things for all of you. I'm sure all of you will be wondering, what is this Oxcel about? Let me just give you a very brief introduction to Oxcel. Oxcel stands for Oxford Centre of Leadership UK. But I think let us just view a short video on that, and that would be able to explain better of what Oxcel is all about. That is what Oxcel is all about. It stands for Oxford Centre of Leadership UK, and we were formed in 1999. And today, to start off the session, I would like to invite our Deputy President, and he is Professor Dr. John Chan, and he would be giving you a short address on this. Yeah.
Selamat petang and salam sejahtera. Right, to all those who have tuned in to our cafe chat. And a very good evening to our distinguished guest and speaker, that is Dato Indra Gunawan Alamshah. He is the Vistage Chair and a very experienced professional, right, in the areas of leadership development, which I will leave it to Dr. Maria to brief us further on his background. And also a very good evening to Dr.Maria Rufina, the president of OXCEL Malaysia, who has diligently put this all together for us. Now, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you, our guests, as well as fellow OXCELians, to our maiden cafe chat series. Basically, we have put this together, right, to excite everyone on leadership values, core leadership values, etc. Just to say, to extend a warm welcome, it's my honor to also give the opening address on behalf of Professor Dr. Azari Othman, the President of OXCEL Asia Pacific and Malaysia. Okay, so I'd like to end here and wish everybody a very good evening once again. Thank you for the opportunity of addressing all of you. And I would like to hand it back to Dr. Maria.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thanks a lot. So now, without further ado, I would like to invite our guest speaker for today. And it's none other than Dato Indra Gunawan Alamshah. Let me give you a very brief introduction before I invite him to the stage. Right. Now, Dato Indra Gunawan Alamshah, he's the Vistage CEO Chair since 2016. And currently he chairs CEO members from Europe, Australia, as well as Malaysia. He has more than 30 years of experience in corporate turnaround, right? Corporate turnaround. He also has years of experience as CEO in managing high-profile startup companies. Now, apart from that, he himself had experiences, of course, held positions as CEOs in various companies, and some of it being he was the group CEO of a technology group, and he was also the CEO of Dagang Net Sdn Bhd and Chief of Operations of Alexander Proud Food, which is a multinational, and he was also with NSTP before. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the right person with us, where today we are going to explore with him. We are going to have a very light-spirited chit-chat to find out more about leadership. Let me bring him on board. Dato Gunawan, 𝗘𝗺𝗙𝗢𝗏, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maria. Thank you so much, Professor John, for inviting me today.
Thank you, Dato.
Too much elaboration on my profile, which is, yeah. Thank you so much for that.
Dato, there's one thing which I want to ask you, even before asking you any other questions on leadership, whatnot.
You can't wait, can you? Okay, sure.
Your name sounds very Indonesian.
Okay.
It's Indra Gunawan Alamshah. Could you elaborate? I mean, can you tell some history? I'm sure there must be some history behind that name, isn't it?
I think I got to give credit to my father for giving me that name. You know, for every time it's like an icebreaker for me. Everybody will ask me that question. Whether I'm in Malaysia or Indonesia or in Thailand for that matter, they say, "Are you Thai?" You know, your name is Intra. That's Thai name. So
I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one.
Okay.
I was born in Malaysia. My parents are Indonesian, so I'm kind of like first generation here.
All right. That says it all. That says it all.
Yeah. So probably at that time, you know, in the 60s, there's one guy from Indonesia who's very good at playing badminton, named Indra Gunawan. So probably that's where my name was coined.
So do you play?
Yeah, I do play badminton, but not as good as the other Indra Gunawan.
Okay. All right. So Dato, coming to it, please share with us. Please share with us a little bit more about yourself, and then about Vistage, your role in Vistage. Many people here would want to know a little bit more about Vistage as well. Probably you can share some things about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk more about myself because you have really covered everything, Doc. You have covered everything. What I'm going to talk about is more on the Vistage and also leadership, probably, if you allow me. Vistage Malaysia, or rather Vistage International, is one of the world leading chief executive organization. Selamat Hari Merdeka, right? Vistage is also 64 years old in August. So what a coincidence, you know. Vistage was established in 1957 in United States. We have to date 24,000 chief executive members over 22 countries worldwide. Yeah, Malaysia alone we have 900 plus chief executive members. So that makes us the leading chief executive organization in the world.
Are there any particular criteria and all that? What are the criteria?
Yeah, well, our mission is to increase the efficiency and enhancing the lives of CEOs personally and professionally. Yeah, we know that a lot of CEOs are lonely at the top. Lonely in the sense that there's a lot of decisions to be made. There's a lot of things that they need to bounce ideas with somebody else. They can't do that with the staff. They can't do that with the board. So they need somebody to bounce ideas, you know, or how to solve problems. So that's why this is established. So to make that happen, Vistage has four major pillars, time-tested major pillars. One is the power of peer group. So once you are a member, you will be assigned to a group. And this group, around 12 to 15 members, right, are from different industries. It's not the same industry. So the reason is because once it is different industries, there will be no biasness, there will be no conflict of interest. within the group itself. So you can be open to talk about your problems, can be open to talk about your plans, what you want to do. And the rest of the 15 members will be like your advisory board.
So they'll be advising each other, is it?
They'll be what, sorry?
You'll be advising each other?
We'll be advising each other, yeah. Plus the chair. So imagine yourself, if you want to do something, you call a consultant to help you to do it. With this stage, you don't have to call a consultant. You have ready CEOs around you, 15 of them, to give their perspective, to give what they think, to give their experience, to share their experience. So that's the power of the peer group. Yeah. So that's the first pillar. Second pillar is the chair itself. People like me, experienced CEOs, ex-CEOs, group CEOs who has gone through, been there, done that, going through the mill and all that. So we'll be there to facilitate the group of all the CEOs. We'll facilitate. We also act as a chair, as a coach. Yeah, we also be a coach. We also be a mentor. We also be confident. We are confident. We talk about things that beyond business. We talk about personal. We talk about your spouses, problem with your spouses, your children, and all that. Because that, like it or not, would impact your performance in the business.
Definitely.
Right? Whatever that is in your house will actually impact the performance of your business. So we talk about that. We go into all this detail of how to bring the CEO to the next level.
Okay.
Right? So we also being called mentor. We make people accountable for what they promise to do. So we make the CEOs accountable. So we are also the mentor of the CEOs. Of course with permission. Of course with the permission from them. Yeah. So that's the second pillar. The third pillar is the resource speaker, expert resource speaker. We bring in expert from overseas or local. We have brought in Simon Sinek, Jim Collins, all those big name. We also have Dato Jalal to share with us about how he manages the crisis in Shell and also in MAS. Those kind of thing really helps our members.
Very practical, huh?
Yeah, a real thing, how he managed, really open our eyes, especially during the March MCO, March 2020 MCO, So that's the third pillar. And the fourth pillar, last but not least, is our Vistage portal, which connect us to all the 24 chief executives worldwide, right? So in this portal, you can have all the best practices all over the world. Wow. So if you have to know about your industry, about logistics, you can just key in into there and tell about logistics, how to manage during crisis. All that the members will share willingly for you. That's the library. Secondly is if you want to start business overseas, they are there to help you. And thirdly, of course, the networking. If you are in any industry, you just ask, how do you solve this problem? Then all the people from the industry will tell you.
It's all that. All right. Thank you, Dato, for giving us a very clear picture of what Vistage is all about. I'm sure many of them there would be interested in contacting you after this to find out more. Okay, Dato, just to check. Okay, since saying this, I think you are the best person to let us know this. Okay, you have coached so many CEOs. You have been working with them, you've been with them, you've seen them. What do you find to be the most prevalent leadership gaps in CEOs?
Wow, that's a big question. There's a lot of gaps actually, but I think the most prevailing, Doctor, is the differentiation between a manager and a leader. Right? A manager is somebody who has authority, right? But not necessarily he's a good leader, right? Vis-a-vis a leader can be anybody who doesn't have to have authority but can lead people. People will follow naturally because he inspires the people. So
Correct.
that's the big gap there, you know. So CEO thinks that, okay, I'm the CEO, so I'm the leader, right? But in actual fact, they are only doing a manager's job, for example, rather than leading the people. They become the operational manager.
Aha.
That's a big gap there. That's a big gap there. Instead of leading all the senior managers, they themselves become one of the senior managers.
Okay, so Dato, you're saying that they are very much in the business rather than overseeing and doing what they're strategic and all that. Instead of doing that, they are bogged down with the day-to-day operations and all that. Am I correct? Am I getting you correct here?
Absolutely. They are caught up with the cycle of managing operation.
Hmm.
Over managing. They are supposed to be, you know, doing the leading. So they over managing instead and less leading.
Less leading. Okay.
Less leading. Over managing, less leading. So that has really have a big impact. So once you are a manager, you tend to do a lot of things. You want to do a lot of things. You want to control a lot of things. You become like, I must know everything. I must know all the answer. You know, but we are only human beings. Doc, we are only human beings. There's so much that we can do, right? We are not Superman. We are not Superman. So a leader will trust his people. Leader will trust his people that the people can help to navigate the situation or any situation in the company.
Okay, Dato, now you see, now we are having the pandemic time and all that, right? So this lead, that's the same gap that we spoke about just now. The gap we mentioned was like they are still being a manager, they are into the business rather than strategic and all that. So do we still see that in the pandemic times?
Definitely. For as long as the definition is not clear, they don't understand what a leader is, they will continue on doing what they're doing.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So I've seen even my members are like that. You know, they're stuck into the operation instead of thinking, hey, what should we do? How do we move forward? You know, what are the opportunity lies in this crisis? For example, during our MCO, they're stuck into how do I make more sales? How do I make more sales? Now, in a crisis, you don't talk about making more sales. You know,
but they need to bring in the revenue. What that is bread and butter, isn't it?
Of course, it's about not going from bad to worse. It's about not going from bad to worse. You got to check your problem, right? You got to stop your problem, and then only you move, right? You don't expect during crisis you still want to push for sales.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't make sense, you know. But you can take a step back and say, okay, look, this is a crisis. What can we do? How can we continue on engaging with our customers, for example, because we cannot see each other during this pandemic. You know, we cannot see each other. Our mentality has always been: if I want to do a sales, I have to be face to face with my client. We can't do that now.
Totally different.
Yeah, but this is the job for the CEO to think: how can we still have engagement during this pandemic? How can we still have that sales during this pandemic? What do we need to do differently? So that's the job for the CEO to think about that.
It's true, you know, that just to share with you, there was one particular, this is an NGO, and we wanted some fund for an NGO. So this is, I think, Hazana, they came and interviewed us. Right. And when they interviewed us, they asked us, what are the activities you've done? And we shared all the list of activities. But one thing I mentioned, we were supposed to have a strategic workshop, but we couldn't because of the pandemic. And, you know, they told me we didn't get the fund, but they did tell me, Maria, in fact, we want an organization which is active during even pandemic time. I said, we have done so much. There's only one which we didn't do, but they said that one also should be continued. Yeah. So you see, our mentality is like, don't do more, keep doing. That is how it should be. Okay, that brings us to our soalan 𝗘𝗺𝗡.
Oh, yo, okay. You mean the tougher question, eh?
No. The soalan 𝗘𝗺𝗡 is our title. Our title is basically surviving the pandemic to steer or to lead. Should CEOs steer or lead the company, and why? Dato, you need to answer this question for us.
Okay. Yeah, to understand better, we need to define what is steer and what is lead. Yeah. My definition is like this: to steer is to instruct or dictate way to go. You go this way, you go that way, you go straight, you don't do anything. That is steering. You steer the wheel, everybody will follow.
Yeah.
Whether they like it or not. Whereas lead is you are leading them to make decision because they know better in their own area. They are the best person to tell you what is the best way to do it. Right? So you lead, you inspire them so that everybody will move concertedly as a team to achieve a common goal. So that's the difference between leading and steering. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does, definitely. It does, definitely.
Yeah.
But Dato, in this time of VUCA, when there's so much of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, and other names all will be coming in, can we still afford to lead and consult everybody? Isn't this a time when leaders should say, hey, we need to move in this direction? They need to call the shots, shouldn't they? Shouldn't it be a steer?
Okay. Well, it's not a straightforward answer. Yeah. There should be a balance. There should be a balance between steering and also leading, right? And what you have as your resources will determine that, because you might have competent managers and you might not have competent managers as a CEO.
I think that's
right. We got to understand that. So people say, hey, but Indra, why should you have a non-competent manager in your company? Right? We should have all competent, right? So that's another story altogether. We're going to talk about that on another day, right?
Yeah.
But we do have that kind of situation where people are not competent in our organization. So it depends on those scenarios.
Yes.
But let me tell you, in a crisis or in a normal day, there's only certain thing that is black and white. That means it's a definite thing. You don't do this, you do this, that's certain, only 20-30% of that. But the rest of the situation are in gray area.
True, very true.
Right? In gray area where there's a lot of thinking that needs to be done, there's a lot of scenarios that need to look at, and sometimes there's no room. Situation, you're right, So it's not so easy like, okay, you go this, you do that, No, it's not. So that's when a good leader will come in and say and lead the team and lead these competent managers to look into the situation for them to do the day-to-day operation, so that the CEO does not involve in the operation cycle.
Dato, when you were talking about competent managers, something came into my mind. There was once this particular organization CEO, we were consultants there, and this CEO, when we were doing some fact finding, and this is what he said. He said, Maria, we are planning to go on diversification, totally a different industry altogether. I would love to use my existing managers even for the new business. But he said this, he said, Maria, the company is running, but my managers are still crawling, dia kata. Oh, can you imagine the way he said that? Like, the company is running, but my managers are still crawling, he said. I think that was so powerful, the way he depicted it.
I'd like to share my experience during this pandemic with my members. There are things that I think I'd like to share so that we don't get caught into the trap. So again, going back to the definition, manager and also a leader. So you don't want to be a superhero during this time. No, you don't want to be doing everything you want to control. You cannot. All right, you cannot, because there's so many things, there's so many variables to handle. So let our competent managers handle those parts. We stick, as a CEO, we stick at the strategic level, at the holistic level, to see how we should survive and thrive during the pandemic, instead of getting involved in the operation. You get sucked into the operation, I tell you. Right? So
Oh,
you
yes.
got to be, so you got to trust, you got to delegate, you got to lead, you got to be vulnerable. You got to be vulnerable. As a leader, you got to be vulnerable. You got to tell that I don't know everything. I don't know everything. You got to be vulnerable in that. We are not superheroes. That's the first step. The moment we become superheroes, then that's it.
True.
Right? So as a leader, you make decision, you support, you guide the managers. Yeah, resist that temptation of taking over. Resist that, because it's so easy to do that. You know, that's where the trust comes in. Yeah. So like I said just now, over managing and under leading. You know, so that's another
And
trick. Big,
micromanaging.
yeah.
Dato? And micromanaging. And micromanaging.
Micromanaging. So if
Yeah.
you're over managing, that means you're micromanaging already,
Mm.
automatically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the first trap. The second trap is we naturally, when we are in crisis, you know, our human survival instinct comes in.
Yeah.
Right? So we tend to solve problem immediate, the current problem immediate, right? Instead of focusing, hey, this pandemic going to be a long haul. It's not going to be 1 day or 2 days or 1 month or 3 months. It's going to be a long haul until the vaccine is available. You know, even that, there's no guarantee that we can be out of the pandemic. So instead of just looking at a narrow view, we have, as a CEO, have to look at a broader view. All right, cash is king. Cash is king. So you have to do scenarios on cash flow. You know, what happened if this pandemic lasts for 6 months, 18 months, 24 months? You know, what will happen? Where is our cash flow? Where can we get our revenue? Where can we get our collection? You know, so those are the things that is critical during crisis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well said,
So,
Dato. Thank you. I think, yeah. Sorry?
yeah, it's all about clarity lah. It's
Yeah,
all
very
about clarity. Even though we might not get 100% clarity, you know, at least we have 60-70% clarity of where we are moving.
Yes, and sometimes we
Right?
don't better not to wait for the 100% clarity. Just whatever clarity you get, some ride on it and move on. Am I correct?
Yeah.
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 That's
we
I've got
move.
another question for you. Yes, I've got another question
Yeah.
for you. I thought, you see, the COVID-19 and the pandemic, it has actually like sort of pressed the reset button like that, you know, the level the playing field, right, for existing company as well as newbies. Now everybody comes back to reset really like that. What advice would you give to help such companies prepare themselves when the situation has improved?
Okay. Okay. So what advice do I give for those company to get ready when the situation has improved?
Yeah. To both, to senior, to the newbie as well as the,
right.
you know.
I like to address that when the situation improve, because we will not know when the situation will improve. All right. So if I can quote Albert Einstein, yeah, he said, in the midst of a crisis or any crisis, there lies great opportunities. In the midst, it's not at the beginning, it's not at the end, it's in the middle of crisis. In the midst of crisis lies opportunity. So you cannot find any opportunity during the beginning, because everybody is chaotic, everybody is everything is jumbled up and all that. So you won't find the opportunity. You'll find opportunity during the middle of the crisis. And if it is at the end of the crisis, then it will be too late for you. It'll be too late. Now, we have been in this situation for almost 1 year plus.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 year plus. So if you have to notice, companies have moved. They have changed their business model, right? They have, even we are talking online. You know, last time it's going to be difficult for us to talk online now, right? But situation forces us to talk online, get engagement online, do training online, you know. So those are the opportunity, new opportunity. Why? Because the moment you go online, you can go anywhere in the world.
Yes, global.
Global.
At the comfort of your home.
At the comfort of your home, you don't even have to take shower. You don't have to spend 2-3 hours to make up and all that. Right?
That
So-
one must, Dato. Makeup all must.
Must, Okay,
Makeup.
okay. Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying here is that the opportunity will come during that crisis, and you got to grab it immediately. It's not like, oh, I'll wait and see what happened. When everything is ready, then only I change. Then you'll be too late. That's my advice. It'll be too late. Retail business is going down, right? You cannot open your shop. If you open your shop, also people won't come. So what's your business model going to be like? Right? You got to change your business model. It's not going to be a shop anymore. It's going to be a virtual shop. It's going to be online selling, right? Online delivery. So those are opportunity, new opportunity. And a lot of company has grabbed that opportunity. You see a lot of company doing distribution, delivery, a lot of company doing online sales and all that. So those are, to me, immediate opportunity that can be grabbed. So, but if you have to wait until everything is okay at the end, then you're already too late. You're already too late. That's something that I must stress on this. And there's a lot more opportunity. You say the right word, level playing field.
Yep.
Level playing field, where everything is new norm. The word is new norm, right? So that's it.
Yeah, Dato.
I believe you are doing training online too now.
Oh yes, very much.
Right? Yeah.
Very much.
I heard that you went you did a one for Sarawak company.
Yes, that was
Was that physical or online?
No, it was virtual.
Virtual,
it was actually
right?
virtual. Yes, virtual. But in the LinkedIn, I saja letak lah. I just came back from Sarawak.
Yeah.
virtual Sarawak.
But imagine 1 year ago, you would not dream of doing training online.
No, now I'm so thankful for the virtual training.
Yeah. So you don't have to travel to Sarawak to do training, So that's opportunity. That's opportunity.
I'm going to go to one segment now. It's called our 9 quality. Just give me 9 qualities of 9 OXCEL leadership qualities, as we call it. This is what we subscribe to in OXCEL, all right? I would like you to share any experiences with regards to this particular 9, any one of the qualities of the leadership, okay?
Okay.
Out of the 9 qualities, we're just going to talk about 2, and I would like you to relate your experience pertaining to the quality.
Okay.
Okay. All right. The first one that I would like to pick about, let me just bring it up again. Okay. I'm going to share about making sense of complexity and ambiguity. Okay. That's one of the OXCEL leadership qualities. And for this, making sense of complexity and ambiguity, can you share any of your experiences or anything to share?
Why do you have to pick the most difficult one, Doctor?
Because now it's VUCA. Now it's all the pandemic time.
Okay. Yeah. The thing is this. Complexity and ambiguity. We created it. Right? We created it. We make things difficult. We make things. We try to do a lot of things at the same time. We try this and that, and at the end we got lost in the jungle, for example. We can eat like this, but instead we choose to eat like that.
Okay.
Right? So that's a simple way. Eat like this, a simple way. So again, when we are in the jungle, for example, lost, right? We need a compass. We need a compass. What's our compass? So if you look at our company again, we must be clear about what's our purpose of being. Why are we here in the first place? Right? What's the company going to serve to the community? That's number 1. Number 2, our mission. Where are we going? Right? And then our core values. What's our core value? What do we believe in? And our goals and objectives. So those are our compass, a common compass. If you're in doubt, if you're lost, go back to that.
Compass.
Always go back to the compass. Right? The compass will guide you to clarity. Say, hey, this is not our core value. Don't do it. hey, our purpose is not this. Our purpose is that. Even though there's a lot of money here, but that's not our purpose. Our purpose is this. So that will bring us back to our purpose. All right?
Very well said,
So,
Dato.
yeah. So that's a natural tendency for us to, to make things complicated and ambiguous. Stick to the game plan. Stick to the company game plan. Even though you say that it's crisis and all that, if you look back to your mission, purpose and all that, it will guide you there. That's number one.
It points us to one direction.
Yeah, it will going back to what you believe in the first place. Secondly is make things simple. Make things simple. Have you heard of Jim Collins' Good to Great? He's the author of Good to Great, Jim Collins. Right?
But I've not read that yet.
Okay. It's a good book. It's a good read, So he mentioned that you got to make things simple, like if you look at a fox versus a hedgehog. A fox is a cunning guy, right? A cunning animal. He will try a lot of things. He will know, move here, move there, everything all over, trying to get to the hedgehog. All right? But hedgehog only know one thing. One thing. When in adversity, the hedgehog will just curl up and roll his body. That's all.
That's it.
That's
and
it.
that one strategy.
That's one strategy. The fox will try every single thing in the world to get to the hedgehog, but the hedgehog just curl his body and the hedgehog will win. Hedgehog will win all the time.
Okay.
All right. Let me quote some example. Have you heard of Southwest Airline? The airline in the States. The airline in the States. Right? Keep it very simple. Only one thing that they're good at. They focus on what they are good at. Short haul airline. Short haul airline. They don't go for overseas, they go for international, they just concentrate on short haul. And to convert who? Who are the customer? The car drivers, the people who rides on the bus, or the people who rides on the train. Because there's a lot of commuters in United States. So they convert these people for short haul. They make it more enjoyable, more experience in taking a flight. No frills. No frills doesn't mean that it's going to be boring. So if you to notice, Southwest Airline, their crew, the cabin crew, very creative. Now the way they announce, the way they serve, is very creative, different from the normal airline. That makes the airline more livelier and not boring lah. In that sense.
Okay.
One short haul, that's all, and they're the best. They're the best. Delta, they wall up Delta, they wall up,
They have
airlines.
like their core strategy lah. That is like their core strategy. Am I correct?
Yeah. One simple thing. What you are good at, right? Amazon is another thing. Amazon, right? Simple. Customer experience. They just focus on customer experience. The normal people will be happy. Once they're happy, they will visit their Amazon site. When more people visit Amazon site, there'll be more seller that want to be on Amazon. So it's a cycle like that, and it's all boils down to customer experience. That's all. It's not the price. It's not the changgihness of the portal, and not that. Customer experience. They make sure that people order, they order the right, they deliver the right thing at the right time, the right cost.
Okay. Dato, your
So
second
those are
quality
example of
ready. Yes. The second quality of leadership is waiting for you. But this time I make it easy for you. You can select which one you want.
So the first question is okay,
Fantastic. Okay. So now the second quality, you pick one and share just your experience. Share your experience that depicts this. Which one would you like to choose? Pilih.
Okay, can I turn the wheel or not? Okay. Integrity, Doc.
Integrity, okay.
Yeah,
Can you
I go
share
for
with us
integrity.
one simple experience, yes, to depict the integrity as a leader?
again, I go back to the definition of integrity. Integrity, the essence of integrity is trustfulness, honest, gracious, respectful, responsible, hardworking, helpful, patient, and many more. Well, it's not just saying the right thing or do the right thing, you know. All this encompasses integrity. So you can be the smartest smartest person in the world. You can be the best innovator in the world, right? You can be the most honest. I mean, the most intelligent person in the world. But all this will not matter if you don't have integrity.
True.
It will just overnight, you will lose everything. Crash. Richard Nixon, Watergate scandal, crash overnight. Bill Clinton sex scandal. We also have our example, our ex-Prime Minister, 1MDB, go down. Right? So integrity is very, very important. Yeah, very, very important. You don't have to be the best person in the world, or you don't have to be the smartest person in the world, but people will respect people who is trustworthy, honest, you know, gracious, respectful, responsible, all that. That's integrity.
And I think, yes, I agree with you that. So I think it's a very important thing. It actually, you can be the best and the best in every aspect, but the moment the integrity is not there, I think you will see that even the respect will not be there and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an immediate impact. Immediate.
True.
Yeah.
Dato, I'm now going to one final question because I did promise everybody it's going to be 45 minutes, and there's one question that I would like to ask you. Now, given there's so much of uncertainties now going forward, there's been a lot of retrenchment, has been on the rise, and job security has been at stake in many, many places. And you know, the CEOs are having a nightmare, trying their best to retain or strike a balance between, you know, should they let go or should they keep, how many of them they should keep, and those kind of things. What advice do you have? I'm sure many of our friends here who are watching who also have this kind of a similar challenge. You know, they on one side they have to look into their, you know, letting go of people. Another side they still need to keep and help. How do you think they can strike a balance? Do you think?
Okay. As a leader, right? People is number one. No question about that. Without the people, your company will not move. People is number one. So you as a leader got to protect your people all the way, right? Now, of course, there'll be a period where you cannot do anything at all because of the situation. You just have to retrench. No, there will be a period in that. But as
even
leader,
in turnaround, that happens, isn't it?
Yes.
Turnaround and all that, yeah.
Yeah, it does happen. So in that case, how do you avoid this? How do you avoid, you know, the unpleasantness and all that? A couple of things. Good leader will, like I said, clarity. If you are in a crisis, clarity is number one. Everybody got to understand what's going on. Engagement with the people is very important. Right? Communication with the people is very important. Where are we now? What's happening? How are we handling it? How are we protecting our employee? Because a leader got to continuously create safe environment. Right? As an employee, they want to see safe environment and don't see the leader taking charge to protect them.
Yeah, but Dato, at one point of time, the CEO will come to a cross section where he has to let go of the people.
Right. Yeah.
There cannot be a time where he keep them all the time. Am I correct? Especially in these pandemic times, right?
That's what I say. If you are a leader, you will prolong that. That will be the last resort. That will be the last resort. You will do everything. So you have to maintain as a good leader to make sure that you survive. during the crisis. You know, that is your job, right? You don't just take a simple action like, oh, crisis, I have to cut costs.
Not straight away lah. That means you consider other options and all that.
Yes, other option. And communication is very important, because the more you communicate, the more people will understand why you have to do certain things. Then it's not too bad. It's not too bad. They will understand why the company to do it for the greater good. You know, so communication, clarity is very important. That's why during crisis you need to do a town hall and all that to communicate to your employee. But like you say just now, at the end, if nothing else that you can do, you have to retrench. You have to retrench.
Yeah, you have to.
Right? In order to survive the company. But you prolong that will be the last option. There's a lot more other options, believe me. There's a lot more other options that you can do. Yeah, it's a lot more.
Okay, all right. Okay, Dato, I think, thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Now, no need question. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Your final words that you would like to share? Anything, especially on our topic, whether steer or lead in this time?
Yeah. Well, if you are, I'm going to repeat myself again. If you are CEO of the company, right, lead your company. Don't be a micromanager. Don't do everything on yourself. You know, trust your people. Create clarity. Create a safe environment for your employee. Right, and they will respect you. And they will do things not because of you. They'll be inspired by you, yes, but they'll do it for themselves. They will do it for themselves. That is the moment where you want your people to be at. They do it because they want to do it. Right? So that is a good leader.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dato. I think I want to thank you very much for making yourself available for this session. And
No
I think
problem.
a lot of good points that you have shared, and I'm very sure many of those will really find it very, very useful. You know, sometimes it's when you wouldn't know when any point would hit hard on them. For all you know, there are people who are in that situation, and some of the points that you would have said would be an enlightenment to them, I believe. And I really hope, thank you so much, Dato, for coming once again. Really appreciate your time. And perhaps we can keep in touch even after this session. Yeah?
My pleasure, Doctor. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you.
Happy Merdeka Day for
Yes, same
everybody.
here. Happy Merdeka, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dato. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Yes. And so that brings us to the end of our session for today. So friends, I really hope that this topic that we did today basically is on, as a leader, especially in these pandemic times, there are so many challenges that we will all be facing. And how are we going to lead, or are we going to steer? And there were some important points which Dato has highlighted. I really hope that you will find it useful. And I want to thank all of you who are here and who ever come across this video even after this. I really hope that this will be useful for you. And I hope that what we are going to do, you will find it very beneficial as well. And just to let you know that we will be doing this Oxcel Café chat every month, probably towards the end of the month around this time. So I look forward to introducing another speaker next month. We have someone very interesting whom we have, but we'll keep it suspense until a little later. We will announce that to you. Okay, so in the meantime, I want to thank all of you very much. And here are some final things about Oxcel. Anyone who's interested to know more about Oxcel, please feel free to just contact us through any of these email addresses, or you can contact us through even LinkedIn or Facebook, and you can contact me, and we will get back to you. All right, thank you so much. And that's it, everyone. Good night. And I want to thank all those who have been here. Thank you. And see you some other time. Selamat Hari Merdeka to all of you. Bye-bye.